Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. All right, this content is part of a playlist, and you should watch it in the order that it appears in the playlist. And the link for the playlist is below. And so we're going to talk about Dragons of Stormwreck Isle today. In my humble opinion, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle contains a secret adventure which is shown in the art only, and it's shown specifically in 9 specific images, 5 in the adventure book, 4 in the rule book, and in my humble opinion, that art is depicting the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons Saturday morning cartoon protagonists, even though Wizards of the Coast says that it's not them. In my humble opinion, it is clearly them. In order to believe that these are not the 1980s cartoon characters, you'd have to ignore the evidence of your own 2 eyes. And in America, we're realizing real quick, do not stop thinking when you're told to stop thinking, right? Do not get in the habit of ignoring the evidence of your own eyes. It's a very dangerous habit to get into. All right, so let's go forward. So today we're going to look at Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, the DOSI artifact A04. So it's in the adventure section. This image we're going to talk about today is in the DOSI artifact A04 is in the adventure section on the 4th page. And you see the picture right in my thumbnail. So I took a picture of that image in my copy that I purchased, and so you could see that in the thumbnail, right? And in the thumbnail, what you're looking at is 3 humanoids looking at an adult dragon. So let's talk about everybody in that picture, right? Okay. So first of all, in my humble opinion, you are seeing Presto the Magician, okay? Then you are also seeing Hank the Ranger, right? And then who's that third person? Who's that third person? There's a human female, right? And she appears to be a cleric. She's wearing a tunic, and she has a spherical mace. She has a mace with a spherical ending, right? Like a big ball at the end, right? That's Alina the Cleric, in my humble opinion. She is from the basic 1983's Red Box set. That's a big deal that Alina the Cleric's up in here, okay? So that's definitely her, in my humble opinion. So let's talk about Alina the Cleric being here. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about everybody in the picture before we move forward. So Runara, so the big adult dragon, big adult dragon is redundant. The adult dragon is an adult brass dragon who is Runara, okay? And Runara is prominently featured in the text of Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, and that's the Muggle adventure. That's for the regular people who they're not going to decode a secret, adventure. Not all dungeon masters are cool, right? Just the ones who'd be willing to decode the message that's been put there by Wizards of the Coast, in my humble opinion. All right. So basically, you have Runara, and she is presenting herself to these 3 characters, right? And they are frightened. They are very frightened, and they are ready for action as though they're going to be attacked, okay? Now, let's talk about this. Okay, so we're seeing Presto and we're seeing Hank. What does that mean? They're alive and doing well, right? And we know when this has happened because of DOSI artifact A01. This happens 100 years before your player characters arrive on Dragon's Rest in Dragons of Stormwreck Isle adventure, okay? So this is 100 years past from the start of the adventure, okay? And so that's Runara, 100 years past, okay? So we know 100 years before the player characters arrive in Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, we know for a fact that in my humble opinion, they are clearly there, right? And this means that they survived. They are now grown up. The pictures of them show that they've grown up quite a bit. They're adults at this point, right? And so we know they survived all their adventures with Dungeon Master and all their travails dealing with Venger. And this is very exciting, and this is important because we know they're alive, right? The other thing that is really interesting is Alina the Cleric is here, and what does that mean? That means not only did they live, okay, but they traveled on from the lands they were there, and they have gone to multiple realms, right? So at minimum, so they're on Forgotten Realms. We know they're in Forgotten Realms here, right? 100 years ago, before the start of Dragons of Stormwreck Isles, they were in the Forgotten Realms, right? And Alina the Cleric, all right, that's really fascinating. because the Forgotten Realms didn't exist when Alina the Cleric came out in 1983, right? So they have been to at least two different realms in Dungeons and Dragons. They are planes walkers. They have walked the different planes. They have walked from realm to realm, right? They are planes walkers. They are powerful. They are alive. They are survivors, and they have not lost the weapons that Dungeon Master gave to them. And they also, the other thing is they are not running, right? So that means when they come across an adult dragon, they are frightened, but that doesn't mean they're not ready to fight, right? And so there's just so much here, and it's really exciting to see that they have gone out, they have adventured, they have met many of the denizens of the Dungeons and Dragons, the different realms of the Dungeons and Dragons, and they've been, traversing through the multiverse. So there's a lot here, and this is an incredibly exciting piece of information for us to piece together so that we can run the secret adventure that's here within the Cloaked Thief's Return. So that's my opinion on what is happening in that image. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.